F you legal. Don't talk shit. Don't bend over.
My name is James Moylan. I'm the National Campaign Director of the Hemp Party in Australia. I'm also a lawyer. This video contains a synopsis of the information that I've been providing in workshops all around Australia for the last 2 years. These workshops have also been called Police Wrangling. They're aimed at assisting cannabis users in maintaining good legal health in a society which is ambivalent at best to their use of cannabis. The video is broken into 7 segments, each addressing a different topic relating to maintaining good legal health. I wish I didn't have to provide this information to you. I really wish it was totally unnecessary. But unfortunately, if you're a cannabis user in our society, you have a big target painted on your back. This is because our government, and so the police, deem that cannabis use is illegal and so you're a criminal. Since you're watching this, I doubt I have to go into any great detail about why or how our drug laws are so bloody stupid, especially the laws relating to cannabis use. However, one thing I will do is take you through the obscene statistics just to make it a bit real for you so that you understand that you really do have to know this information. As you can see by these statistics, since 1997 until present, between 50 and 70,000 Australians have been convicted each year on cannabis offences. Of course, this is despite, during the same period, not a single individual suffering any harm from the effects of cannabis. No fatalities, whilst at the same time, 60 Australians have died every week of that period from abusing alcohol. Hang around, I said I wasn't going to preach to the converted. One thing you can understand about these statistics, obscene statistics as I've termed them, is that they're disproportionate. They do not reflect the makeup of our society. This is because the police use our cannabis laws to beat the usual suspects over the head. Normally, the police are using it to target particular groups of individuals, and it's an excuse to create a hassle for them. Because virtually every policeman in Australia understands that cannabis is not a dangerous drug. The drug arrests that you do see in Australia are hugely disproportionately male. 80% of convictions for cannabis are of males. Further, they're disproportionately lower socio-economic groups and migrant groups and the like. So, if you're a usual suspect and you use cannabis, then you're doubly at risk. And so this information is aimed at you. This will assist you in minimising your chance of getting hassled by the man, and if you do get hassled by the man, of getting busted. If you're a cannabis user in our society, or you use other drugs, then Mr. Policeman is not your friend. Don't treat him like a friend. It's dangerous for your legal health. In much the same way as you don't go out and play with sharks, or jump off short buildings with long bungee cords, don't play with the police. If you use cannabis, and you make this fact reasonably obvious to a police officer, then instantly you will become one of the usual suspects. Once your information is down in a police officer's notepad, when a situation comes up where you might fit, then you will spring to mind. This is not good for your legal health. I'm especially talking to those groups of young males. We've all seen them on sidewalks around Australia and the Western world, they all seem to think that there's cachet in hassling the coppers. It's just plain stupid. If you hassle the coppers, they will hassle back. If you're familiar with the police, they'll get to know you, and you don't want the police to know you. So, if you're part of one of these little groups, and you're perhaps the one amongst them that has some portion of brain, then what you'll do for your friends is whenever they intimate that they're going to go and hassle a copper, or you encounter them in casual conversation with a policeman, then what you will do is you will lead them away as quickly as possible. Mr. Policeman is not a cannabis user's friend. I don't want to go into too close a detail about the legal niceties of the laws, except in a couple of cases. The most significant of these is regarding the law of possession. The charge possession of cannabis is the one that is most often suffered by cannabis users. Possession means to have cannabis on your person or under your immediate control. On your person is pretty straightforward. If you've got cannabis in your pocket, in your bag, or hanging out of your mouth in a joint, this is possession, direct possession I'll call it, to differentiate it from under your immediate control. This other element of the charge, another way of invoking the charge of possession, is where the police have demonstrated that although the cannabis wasn't on your person, then it can be, beyond a reasonable doubt, demonstrated that the cannabis was under your immediate control. The other thing that you need to know to be able to get a handle on the charge of possession is the difference between public and private space. Public space is pretty easily considered to be anywhere where many people have access and not exclusive access. And so, a public park, a sidewalk, etc., these are all public areas. However, there are public areas in a house as well. If you're in a house, then the kitchen, the lounge room, the bathroom, these are all public areas. Your front porch isn't locked up. It has access to quite a number of people. So it's a public area. However, your bedroom is a private area. Why? Because the law considers that in a bedroom, one person has exclusive access and can dictate who and what enters that exclusive private area. Also with a car, the body of the car is a public area, whereas the boot may be considered by some courts to be a private area because it's keyed, and this may indicate exclusive access by only one individual. This isn't always the case. I'm just using this to demonstrate the difference between public and private space. This has implications for the way that you will stash your cannabis and carry your cannabis. Be sensible. Think about what you're doing when you intend to travel with cannabis. When you have cannabis on you in a public space, then you're liable to be charged with possession, so you want to minimize the risks. When going out in public, out of your house, only take as much cannabis as you're likely to need. Don't take the whole bag. Further, be careful to put it into another bag and do it in such a way as you don't plaster the outside of the bag with cannabis resin. Most people who use cannabis keep it in a plastic bag, and every time they reach into the bag and take some out and then wrap the bag up again, they're putting cannabis resin all over it. This acts as a dog bomb. If there is a sniffer dog anywhere near, then they'll go straight to it. Remember this when you're about to go out. Take a little bit of cannabis out of your bag and place it into a ceramic container. Then go and wash your hands thoroughly, once, twice, and then 3 times, just to make sure that there is no cannabis resin left on your hands. Get yourself a clean bag out of an unopened packet, or a packet that hasn't been groped with hands covered with cannabis resin. Then open the bag up and pour it from the ceramic container into the new bag, and then close the bag up, and you probably will be relatively safe from sniffer dogs in public for a number of hours. This is basic precautions. Think before you go out. If you're about to travel in a car, make sure that you don't have possession of cannabis whilst you're in the vehicle. How can this be accomplished? Take the cannabis out of your pocket and put it on the floor of the vehicle, under a mat or something. Then it is not under your immediate control as far as the law is concerned. If there are 4 people in a vehicle and it's stopped by the police, who find 4 bags of weed on the floor, then barring any admissions, then nobody will own the weed in a legal sense. Yes, a bloody-minded policeman might charge the driver with possession, but any lawyer will be able to instantly have the charge dismissed in a court because there was no immediate control being exerted over the cannabis, and therefore nobody in legal terms owns it. The take-home for this, for anyone who drives a vehicle and smokes weed, who has stoners hop into their car, would be that they want to turn around to their passengers and tell them just what I said. Hey, look, don't keep cannabis on your person. Take it out of your pocket, put it on the floor of the vehicle, and if the police stop you, nobody says anything. Nobody makes admissions. The difference between public and private space also has gross implications for where you're going to stash your pot. At home, you're not going to place your cannabis in an area that's under the exclusive control of anyone, because a policeman finding cannabis in this area will then be able to simply lay a charge of possession against whoever exerts exclusive control. The obvious thing to do is to put your cannabis in a public area, in a kitchen, in a laundry, in a lounge room or a front porch. All of these areas are public areas. Similarly, when you go out and you're spending a day outside of the house with your small amount of cannabis, which is appropriate for the day, then you are not going to stash it underneath the corner of your picnic blanket. This would be considered under your immediate control. You're more likely to place it in a garden bed nearby where you can see where it is, but it is not connected to you. It's some distance away, but not too far away. This should suit both the law and your probable paranoia. Make sure when you're outside of the house and you have cannabis on you that you don't Without thinking, expose yourself to a possession charge. By following these basic principles, then you should be fairly safe. When the police show up at your door, it can freak you out. It is not a good experience. It's two different things, whether they've got a warrant or they haven't got a warrant. If the police haven't got a warrant, then you step out of your door and close it behind you. You might even want to walk up the path right to next to your post box, just to make sure you're well away from your house, so the prying eyes of the police won't be staring into your private business. The police can't just march in. They do have to have a warrant. But quite often, if the police observe something at your front door which makes them suspicious and provides them with enough information to be able to convince a magistrate that you are likely to have cannabis on that property, then they will immediately go away and do so and come back with a warrant. So it's always best to be safe. When a policeman's at the door, step through the door, close it behind you, and if you can, walk away from the house. If you live in a share house, then I want you to be prepared. Be prepared for the police to show up on your front door clutching a warrant. I want you and your housemates to have already gone through exactly what you're going to do in this instance. In fact, I'm inviting you right now to sit all of your housemates down to watch this video so that you're all on the same page. You must be prepared because you are only as safe as the weakest link in your house. The first thing that you will do is you will nominate one individual in your house to be the person who talks to the police, and no one else will talk to the police in these circumstances. As soon as the police do enter your house, when they're searching with a search warrant, then the very first thing that you'll want to do is make sure that everyone on the property is aware that the police are there and undertaking a search. You do not want anyone taken unawares. One of the main reasons why it's best to have a single individual nominated to be doing the talking is that you do not want to make the police feel at home. Do not resist. Do not hinder the police in the process of undertaking a search. But on the flip side, don't go out of your way to make them at all comfortable. Don't be hospitable to the police when they're in your house. They're invaders who are searching your house and you don't want them there. Don't treat them any different. We all like to have guests in our houses. We all like to treat guests well, but these are not guests. These are invaders who are trying to bust you. So, make sure that nobody is talking loquaciously, no casual conversation. The best idea is to nominate only one person to talk. The police will try and get you to talk. As the search is going on, the police will be awful chatty. Remind everyone, as soon as the police arrive, that this is not a social occasion. The police are trying to bust you. Don't make it easy for them. Don't get chatty. If there are enough people in the house, then make sure that no policeman is left alone while they're doing the search. One person should be with each police officer. I'm not saying that the coppers are likely to plant evidence or lie about what they see or hear, but it has been known to happen. It's a good idea if the police are seen to be watched at all times. But as they're doing the search, and as individuals move away with one individual police officer, each officer will ask questions. They'll constantly be chatty. They'll throw questions at you all the time. You must resist the urge to talk. Most stoners talk a mile a minute. In this instance, talking can only get you busted. Talking can only make things worse. So, shut up. During the search, the police will ask questions, and then following the end of their search, they'll gather up all of the materials that they've decided that they want to take as evidence, if there are any, and they'll probably place them on a table in the kitchen or the lounge room, and then recommence asking questions. Again, shut up. So many times I've seen police tapes where the police are wandering around a residence, pointing at things and asking who owns that, or holding up a bag of weed and saying who belongs to this, and someone in the house admits that they own it, or they say, oh, that belongs to such and such. This is stupid. This is like a police officer handing you a gun and you shooting yourself in the head. What you want to do is make no admissions. A successful search is one where the police leave with materials but no information. Immediately following the search, one or more residents may be taken down to the police station for interview. They may be under arrest. Later on in this video, I'll be going through what you should do when you're under arrest. Just follow these strategies and you should be pretty much alright. But for now, I'd like to point out that as soon as you get out of police custody, or as soon as the police have left your residence, and if it looks like charges are pending, that is the time you should seek out a legal practitioner. Tell the legal practitioner everything that happened while it's still fresh in your mind. If there were missteps made by the police in their gathering of evidence, then it's best discovered while it's still fresh in your mind. Then you can put it down on paper, get it all sorted, and then go home and lock the door against what will no doubt be considered a very bad day.